prior to 2019, Gio Urshela fit the description of a 4A player, or someone whose talent level was somewhere between that of a major leaguer and a AAA player in the minors. Over the course of 167 major league games between 2015 and 2018, Urshela posted a Fangraphs wins above replacement of -0.7. So when he suddenly started crushing the ball in 2019 and posted a WAR of 3.1, baseball fans were pretty surprised. So what changed for him in 2019, and what can we expect of Urshela moving forward? Let's get into it. My name is Bobby, and welcome back to Stat Stories. This video was suggested by Michael Virginelli, twice, as well as Redditor James, who I shouted out in a previous video. And to anyone else who suggested this and I didn't see your comment, just know that I appreciate you as well. Let's start with pre-2019 Urshela. He didn't have a ton of plate appearances in any of these seasons, but his performance was pretty consistent in terms of batting average, on-base percentage, and slugging percentage. If you're familiar with these stats, you know that this is a well below average hitter, but we can throw in weighted runs created plus to help us understand a bit better. This stat attempts to measure a hitter's overall offensive contribution and adjust for differences in leagues and parks, with 100 being league average. In Urshela's case, a weighted runs created plus of 65 in 2015 would mean he was 35% worse than the league average hitter, as 100 minus 65 is 35. Now let's add in his 2019 stats. His slash line improved substantially, and most notably, his slugging percentage, which went up over 200 points. The result is a player who is 32% better than the league average hitter, which I would say is about all-star caliber. Let's look at those extra base hits that led to his big year in terms of slugging. Urshela had 34 doubles and 21 homers in 442 at-bats, and he didn't have any triples. Urshela actually led the Yankees in doubles despite having far fewer at-bats than teammates Gleyber Torres and DJ Lemahieu. For the sake of comparison, let's extrapolate Urshela's extra base hits to Torres' number of at-bats. 42 doubles and 26 home runs is actually more extra base hits than Torres, though obviously homers are more valuable. And if we go up to Lemahieu's 602 at-bats, we're looking at 46 doubles and 29 homers. Now, I'm not saying that Urshela would have kept up this pace over the course of more at-bats, but I hope that you can appreciate what he did in 2019, despite having fewer chances than these two. So what exactly changed for Urshela that led to his breakout season? Well, it all started with mechanical changes in his swing. Yankees AAA hitting coach Phil Plantier and Yankees hitting coach Marcus Timms are given a lot of credit for helping Urshela make adjustments when he first came to the organization. While I can't include video with the software I'm using, here are some pics I found from PitcherList.com. The left is 2018 with the Blue Jays, and the right is 2019 with the Yankees. Urshela focused on using his legs more in his swing to generate more power and to help his timing. Baseball is a game full of adjustments, and Urshela has probably made several tweaks to his approach in his career. But confidence is one thing you can't willingly change. Urshela just has the look of a more relaxed hitter on the right, as opposed to one with tense muscles on the left. The mechanical changes paid off when we look at some StatCast metrics such as barrel percentage. A barrel is a ball hit with ideal exit velocity and launch angle, as illustrated here. The starting point for barrel classification is a ball hit 99 miles per hour between 25 and 31 degrees, and the harder you hit it, the more leeway you have with the angle. Urshela had a barrel percentage of 7% in 2019, the highest of his career and better than the MLB average of 6.3%. His average exit velocity was also a career high at 90.5 miles per hour, and even in a year with a juice ball, this ranked in the 76th percentile of big leaguers. And while we're here, we may as well mention his career high hard hit rate of 40.6%, with a hard hit being any ball hit at least 95 miles per hour, and this ranked in the 60th percentile. Hard hits lead to good results, or at least you'd expect them to. Using exit velocity and launch angle, we can look at Urshela's expected batting average, expected weighted on base average, and expected slugging percentage. Weighted on base average is similar to the standard on base percentage, but weighs outcomes according to their impact on scoring runs. Urshela has some very good expected stats, and is even in the 92nd percentile of big leaguers in expected batting average. It's worth mentioning that he outperformed these expected stats in 2019, but not by a crazy amount. Still, we need to ask, what can we expect of Urshela in the future? For every negative thing we can find about him, there's a positive spin that we can make. Urshela outperformed his expected stats. Well, we already said that his expected stats are pretty good, so perhaps he regresses a bit, but he'll still be an above-average hitter. His batting average on balls in play was pretty high in 2019. Again, maybe Urshela got a bit lucky, so regression is expected, but he was hitting the ball a lot harder, so a rise in BABIP seems natural. Urshela doesn't run very fast. This is an interesting one because his fly ball rate was actually below the MLB average in 2019 according to Fangraphs. If he were to try and increase his fly ball rate, we could see even more extra base hits out of him. Urshela doesn't draw many walks. Okay, so this one doesn't really have a positive spin. Unless he suddenly starts getting on base more, he'll need to continue hitting well to be an above-average offensive contributor. We also need to bring up this graph. This is Urshela's 15-game rolling weighted on-base average for 2019. You see rolling averages a lot in finance since they help even out day-to-day fluctuations in whatever it is you're measuring. And for baseball, it gets rid of this mess, which is Urshela's weighted on-base average for every game of the season. Using our rolling average chart, we see he was hitting really well in early May and late July to late August. That dotted line you see is his weighted on-base average for the season, which was 369. You could look at this chart and say that Urshela had one good month that inflated his numbers for the season, and yes, it was a really good month, but he was still good outside of that month. The MLB average for this stat in 2019 was 320. Urshela was generally around that mark when he wasn't super hot, except for the month of September. See, at the end of August, Urshela went on the injured list due to a groin injury. This injury killed his hot streak, and he really struggled upon returning. I'm not sure if we can attribute all of his struggles to the injury, but you have to think it played a big part. By now, we've touched on just about everything with Urshela's season. Was the breakout for real? Yes. Is it sustainable? Maybe. With how well he hit in 2019, I don't see him regressing to his old self. An average play around 2 wins above replacement seems reasonable, and I don't see his floor being much below that. But of course, Urshela will be hoping to build upon his breakout year and prove he's a great hitter. He reminds me a lot of Justin Turner with the Dodgers, a player who hadn't found his footing in the majors, but wound up becoming a star third baseman for one of the biggest teams in the sport. All he needed was a chance with a new team. Before you go, I was recently a guest on the Sayonara Baseball podcast, link in the description and in the comment that I've pinned. Kazuki and Tara were awesome to work with, and I'm sure they'd appreciate any support that you give them. But anyway, thanks for watching and help the channel pass 5,000 subscribers. The growth and support has been unreal, and I appreciate every one of you for helping me get this far. Leave a like and share the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.